接下来我们刚刚讲到说解决一些在地的问题，还有我们大家知道说这几年在台湾也好，然后中国也好，世界各地有很多的地方，其实有很多所谓制造者空间 （maker space） 或者是 Fab Lab 的产生。那我想要今天介绍一位从香港来的朋友 Fiona 呢，他们的空间叫做 Maker Bay。那 Maker Bay 应该是前年就成立了，哎，前年吗？去年中的时候。在香港成立，那他在香港这一个租金非常高昂，然后人工也非常昂贵的地方，他们后来很不容易找到一个其实规模还挺大的一个空间，然后是创办人自己带领的团队一点一点把这个地方改造出来。那我今天特别想要讲一下 为什么这次特别请他来，是因为Maker Bay 有一个非常明确的发展的方向，就是他们想要吸引世界不同的人才来到香港，去关切什么事情，其实就是社会的改造，还有环境议题。那这个跟他们的创办人本身，当初自己做了一个关于海洋污染侦测的起源是很有关系的。那 Fiona 自己曾经也是在环境议题的领域里面工作非常久，也参与过红十字会。那我们现在就来欢迎 Fiona 来给我们介绍香港的 Maker Bay， 谢谢。欢迎 Fiona。
大家好，你好，我是Maker Bay 香港过来的 Fiona。这个 PowerPoint 可能有一点点问题，要 fix 一下。还是不知道为什么这个有一点问题，可能大家都 focus 在另外2个 screen 吧。好，不好意思。So I'm going to do my presentation in English. So I asked earlier just now who has been to Makerspace, and the reason I asked was, so I started my role as managing director of Maker Bay a year ago in Hong Kong. So whenever I meet new people, they'll ask me like, oh, so what do you do? Then I'll say, I manage a makerspace. And they will give me this look, huh? What is a makerspace? So I think it happens to probably many of you. And then I'll spend like the next 10, 15 minutes explaining to them what a makerspace is. And then they'll say, okay, it's a workshop, right? Some of them will say, so it sounds like a community center. And then some other will say it's a co-working space or it's an incubator, right? And some will say, oh, it's a place for kids to make crafts. So I say, yeah, it's yes and no. It's a bit of everything, but then not exactly. It doesn't really capture what a makerspace is about. So I just want to talk a little bit about what we, Maker Bay, see what a makerspace is about. Because I think makerspace is a very important component in the maker movement. So when I started a year ago to set up Maker Bay with our founder, Cesar Harada, we wanted to address 2 main questions. The first one is for innovative and creative people in Hong Kong, if they want to make things, there's nowhere they can do it. As you probably are all aware, Hong Kong, very similar to Taipei, rent is very high. We all live in very small flats, apartment, and if we want to make noise, we want to make dust, and it's impossible. Like your neighbors or your family will be very unhappy. And also the equipments are very expensive. But every year we have thousands like engineering, architectural, design students graduating, and they have no place to do the creative, innovative projects. So we decided that we need a space like that for people in Hong Kong. And just a little bit of background, the whole maker movement in Hong Kong is very different from Taiwan. We don't really have a movement yet. There's hardly anyone who understands about what maker movement is. So when we started Maker Bay, we're the first large-scale makerspace. So we rented a very old industrial building. As I was saying, rent in Hong Kong is extremely expensive, so we managed to find the cheapest warehouse we can find in Hong Kong. Extremely rundown. We spent months working on it to renovate it. So we have 6,500 square feet of space. And then we use a lot of volunteers to work with us. We plan with the volunteers and the maker community, say, how do you want the space to be like? So we finally have this space. So you see this middle area is a co-working space where we host many hardware startup companies and freelancers. This red area is a 1,000 square feet workshop. And this green area is a meeting room, cafe, social area. But quickly, it turned into a classroom because it turned out that maker education in Hong Kong is in huge demand. So we have the space ready, we have all the tools, and then we're starting to build a community. So we have a very vibrant space with quite a lot of regular users now. And so there are the two main services that we provide are, first of all, maker education, not just for kids. When we talk about education, we always think about like young kids and students. But we provide workshop classes for a lot of adults or even senior citizens as well. So for them to learn new skills. And the second is entrepreneurial support. In Hong Kong, we have many co-working spaces, but most of them are catered for people who do web-based work, like fintech company or a web-based company. But there's no other space in Hong Kong where hardware startup companies can work on the project. So we provide a co-working space to these companies. And so, yeah, we have a different kind of classes, anything from electronics, 3D printing, woodworking. So we open the space and we address the first question that we want to address, a place for the innovative and creative people to make things. But then we want people to think more about why we need such a space and why is technology important? What do we want technology for? As we're all aware, with technology, in the last century, it has hugely improved the way we live, improved the quality of living, make things much more, make production much more efficient. But then we're also making a lot of stuff, and we're buying a lot of stuff. But at the same time, we're throwing away a lot of stuff. So the more we make, the more we consume, and the more we're creating problems in our society and our environment. So creating a lot of pollution problems, waste problems, and it's not just doing harm to people, but to the whole ecology, to the whole ecosystem. And not only that, I think sometimes the way we use technology is actually not making us any happier. So we want people to think more about why do we need technology? What do we want technology for? So we wanted to make sure everything that we do, we focus on social and environmental impact. And so, for example, this is a class where we teach kids to build mini drones. So, of course, everyone is very excited, not just the kids, mostly actually the parents who are taking the kids to the class that are very excited. But we don't want them to just think that drone is a toy. Of course, it's very fun, and I think having fun is very important. But we want them to think beyond that. So what is the application of drones? So we teach them also about actually drones can use in a lot of situations. For example, post-disaster situation after the earthquake, many times you cannot access to disaster hit area. So you can airdrop medical facilities, you can airdrop food, and you can do mapping. And then you can use drone also to do a lot of agricultural project. You can use it for many positive social and environmental purpose, not just spying on people. So we also want to make sure the space is inclusive. In Hong Kong, we have many refugees, but no one talk about them. It's almost like a taboo. No one wants to recognize that they exist, but they do. And if we don't talk about them, it will just continue to be a problem. And many of the refugees, actually, they're very well educated back in their country. They are engineers, they are teachers, or they're electricians, and they really want to give back to the society. So we organize a workshop where we bring architectural students and refugees together, and then they make furnitures together. And this gives a chance for the refugees to interact with the local Hong Kong people, and the students to have a chance to understand the refugees' problem. And at the end of the workshop, they made these furniture not for themselves, but they donate them to low-income families to Hong Kong. We also use our space a lot to address other social issues. For example, this is a hackathon on wheelchair users. So the design of wheelchair has not changed a lot over the past couple of decades. And Hong Kong is not a very accessible place. A lot of wheelchairs actually cannot access to those places. So we have an hackathon to improve the design of wheelchair. And then, so they went from prototyping on using cardboards and then to make a real wheelchair. Of course, there's a lot to improve, but then it's one of the very few hackathon in Hong Kong that's focused on the social issue. We also try to attract many members who are interested in this topic. So this is a company called Looking Glass Factory. They invented, so it looks weird, this thing, right? But this is actually a wind energy device. So instead of having a rotational wind turbine that we see a lot everywhere, but a rotational wind turbine is actually very expensive to build, and it breaks very easily, and it creates a lot of visual problem. So one of our members invented the world's first non-rotational wind energy device. So it works as it's more like a bridge. When there's wind blowing, it will vibrate. So it used the same idea. So it's more, the idea is to bring these small devices to places like Africa or Asia where there's no energy access. And this is the world's first shape-shifting boat developed by our founder, Cesar Harada. So this is Cesar Harada. And the boat that we have been using has not changed the design for thousands of years. But then actually when you change the design like this to make it shape-shifting, it's almost like a snake. It's much more energy efficient, it's much safer. And also they can be multiplied, they can be mass manufactured to deployed to mass deployed to the ocean to do data collection. So think about the marine research vessel now. It easily costs millions and millions of dollars to build one to collect ocean data in one point. But then the idea of this is to make them very low cost, deploy them to deploy many of them in the ocean to collect data. And now Cesar is building a real scale one, a 6 meter by 6 meter shape-shifting boat which can take people. And so when we talk about maker movement, of course, 3D printing is something that everyone talks about. So one of our members developed this 3D printer for young kids to learn how to build 3D printer. So what's special about this is that we recycle DVD drives from DVD players to drive the 3D printer. So we teach kids that actually nothing is waste. If you use your creativity, use your imagination, everything can be upcycled, everything can be reused. So in this project, we teach them about the waste problem, at the same time about what is 3D printing, what is electronics, and what is all the mechanisms behind it. So we also use our space, try to use it as creative as possible. One reason is because space in Hong Kong is so expensive, so we're always very creative in the use of space. So we use it to do a lot of conferences, talks, events, so to focus on issues that we think are important. So Taka-san talked a lot about mosquito, and we are very concerned about the Zika mosquito problem as well. And so it's very prevalent in Brazil, in South America, but actually Hong Kong has the same condition that can spread Zika, because Hong Kong is very humid, it's very hot as well. So we organize the hackathon on Zika at Maker Bay to talk about, so as a citizen, as maker, how can we address that? So after the hackathon, we developed an app where we can track locations in Hong Kong, which are like hotspot for spreading Zika. So we want to make sure what's happened in the society will be bring into the maker space. And we work also a lot with corporates increasingly, which is something that we have not planned at the beginning. So we have team building workshop, because a lot of companies, they have a budget to do team building events. And traditionally in Hong Kong, they will spend a lot of money, go to an expensive restaurant, get drunk. But increasingly, they feel that we have this money, we should do something more meaningful with our staff members. So a lot of them come to our space, say, we want our staff to learn a new skills, like building a 3D printer, building woodwork. And also they understand that they need to upgrade the staff. So for example, some consulting company, they need to talk to clients about what is 3D printing, what is drone, to help them improve, for example, the supply chain management, or other client-facing technology. So they want the staff to come to our space to learn about all this technology. So this is something that we're trying to bridge the maker world with corporates as well. And so we have a lot of, as I was saying, maker education become a big service of Maker Bay, mainly because many schools in Hong Kong recognize this is very important now, and there's not many other suppliers in Hong Kong. So this is one of the very typical class that we have at Maker Bay. Usually it's a week-long project-based class. So during this week, we teach kids how to build wind train. So basically combining the idea of a train and a boat. You have sails on a train. So using wind energy to power a vehicle. So we ask kids to first make a prototype out of paper and cardboard, and then we took them to hardware store. I don't think a lot of kids in Hong Kong, they know when they go to a hardware store, they know what it is and they know what to buy. So we want to make sure they have the hand-on experience. Go to the hardware store, talk to the owner, say, I want like aluminum, or I want like the screw, or whatever. And then they will start doing like the hands-on stuff. Boys need to learn how to sew as well. And then some other kids, they will form into groups to do documentation. And then as the group work, they will produce an outcome. So this is a very collaborative, very multidisciplinary project. So we use this kind of method to teach a lot at Maker Bay. And this is another example. This is a bioreactor to look into the red tide problem in Hong Kong. 2 months ago, there was serious red tide in Hong Kong, and that's due to algae bloom. And so we took the kids to the bay. We collected different types of algae. Instead of having the bad algae to kill all the fish, we say, oh, let's think about how to select the good ones to counter the impact of algae. So we use very simple things like all these plastic bottles that will go into landfill otherwise. We built a frame with the kids, and then we built a very simple bioreactor. Another thing that we really want to do at Maker Bay is to build the ecosystem in Hong Kong. I was saying that we're the first large-scale makerspace in Hong Kong, but there are many more smaller makerspaces, hackerspaces opening in Hong Kong. But we don't see them as competitor. We want everyone to know about their existence. So we built a map. So for example, someone like you from Taiwan go to Hong Kong and you want to find out all these different makerspaces or places to buy maker stuff. Then you can go on our map and then see, oh, I will go to visit Maker Bay today, and then I can go and visit another hackerspace tomorrow. So we really want to create that ecosystem in Hong Kong. And so this is, so we're doing a lot of things at Maker Bay. And as I was asking earlier, so what do you think a makerspace is? For me, makerspace is not just a space with tools and equipment. It can be as creative as you want it to be. It can be a classroom. It can be a community center. You bring in like-minded people to talk about a certain subject. It can be a theater for people to express themselves. It can be anything that you want it to be. But most important is a place for people to share, to learn new things, to collaborate, and to live to the full potential. But we understand that in many places in the world, like in Hong Kong, space is very expensive, and investing in a makerspace is very expensive, and to manage it is very difficult. And it's not always necessary to have a maker space to do maker work. So and then we receive a lot of requests from different schools and organizations. Hey, we want to build a maker space. But then we're like, wait, why do you want a maker space? Do you really need one? We see a lot of cases, especially in mainland China. So many maker spaces open, but then no one is actually using it. So we say, why don't you just get a couple of tools, the very basic tools ready that is necessary? So something like a bench that we have at Maker Bay, including a couple of other things that may be necessary for that particular school or organization, like 3D printer or laser cutter, and get it started. Get the students, get the community interested first with a couple of things. And then they can decide whether they can take it forward. So this bench can fit into, So we have also a junior version for younger kids. So this bench, a simple bench, can fit into companies, schools, co-working space, community center, refugees, camps. So instead of having many maker spaces, we're actually instead of having many new maker spaces, we're actually bringing maker spaces into existing spaces like schools, libraries, community center. So I think maker space can be as creative as it is, and we can bring maker spaces to any places that we want with just some simple tools. So for us, Maker Bay, the ultimate goal, it doesn't matter what you call it or where it is. the ultimate goal for us is to bring technology in harmony with nature and also with people. And instead of what we have doing in the past century, that we use technology against the nature and against people in many times. So we hope that all of us can think more about what technology can do for our future and for our environment. And thank you very much.
谢谢 Fiona， 这一段可以讲。
可以呀，
可以。我想Fiona 的 talk 我觉得学习到很多，因为我之前或未来也是经营空间。那我觉得讲到一个很重要的，第一个我觉得最后那个东西很棒，是说我们大家一直都在想，我们要做空间，然后里面要买很多东西的时候，其实可以用这样子的一个小小的概念。其实 so it's not about 你有什么很厉害的工具，其实是你要解决什么样子的问题。那这个也是我觉得 Maker Bay 做得很好的一个地方。Fiona， 我想请问一下，在香港，就像你说的 rent is high， 然后大家的 focus 可能都是在工作上面，或者是升学，就是 education 的这个 very competitive 在这样子的地方，你觉得你最想要传达给大家 in terms of education 是哪一件事情？就是我们大家都在讲创客教育的时候，你最想要传达告诉家长也好，爸爸妈妈也好，或是小朋友也好，是what are you trying to communicate？
我觉得 Maker Education 其中一个很重要的component 就是不应该经常就是 focus 在结果这个 result， 而是过程。我觉得过程比较重要。你看我们刚才那些 project， 很多时候他们那个 result 只是一个样子比较奇怪的东西，但是在过程之中，学生学到很多的不同的技能。而且我觉得像 Maker Space 这样的 platform 给年轻的一代，就是他们去不断可以尝试，可以去试不同的东西，去找自己的passion。因为我觉得在现在可能特别在香港，很多时候我跟很多年轻人就讨论的时候，你的 what is your passion？ like 你未来想做什么？他们觉得我不知道，我就觉得为什么你会不知道你自己想做什么？我觉得因为他们对
很多大人也不知道
对，所以我觉得我们很希望这个 Maker Education 就是他们自己亲身去感受不同的可能性，然后去找自己喜欢的东西，然后你找到自己喜欢的东西，你就会不顾一切的去投入在里面，
而且他自己会找办法去解决。
对，
所以有的时候你给他太多的答案或太多的工具，他不见得要知道拿这个是要去做什么的，但是还是要回到。
对，我觉得另外就是一个我们希望年轻人有一个 maker， 我觉得这个 maker mindset 就是。Can do spirit， 我可以做到的，因为他们学了一些 skills， 一些 knowledge， 然后就用这些skills and knowledge， 像你这样说去解决问题。因为我觉得很多年轻人都在遇到问题的时候，他就会怪政府啊，怪企业啊。怪家长啊，怪学校，但是我觉得 maker 就是他们很习惯去自己去解决问题，所以在生活上他们遇到问题的时候，也可以用这个 maker spirit 去解决方法。
所以我们为什么讲 maker， 其实回到追根究底，还是到教育这件事情嘛。OK， 所以那今天非常谢谢 Fiona， 然后现在非常谢谢今天在场朋友，我们现在就是请大家可以去休息、用餐或者是晃一晃，然后接下来在1点半的时候，我们今天第2场的论坛会继续开始。那现在非常谢谢大家。OK，Thank you。
感谢大家参加我们今天早上就是社会实践这个 section。那我们下一个 section 是制造日常，邀请到了3位台湾分别在家庭、教室以及社群经营制造者相关的活动的3位朋友，然后 他们会在这边分享他们的故事，欢迎大家下午1点半的时候再回到我们的现场。那我们的3位讲者就是 Fiona、哈爸还有 Take， 现在也都还在现场。如果有什么问题的话，欢迎留下来，就是多跟他们聊聊。对，他们人都很好，欢迎来跟他们聊天，或者是叫他可以教你一些舞步之类的。好，谢谢大家。